Hello, I don't know whether you saw Dominic Raab giving testimony. What a plonker. What a plonker. But there was one point in the testimony which struck me as extraordinary. And he didn't have the information to answer the question which was put to him. What about the Newsnight report that said that said that before the bomb that took place at Abbey Gate, the British were directing Afghans to collect at Abbey Gate. Now, I certainly have heard this story from independent sources as well. So I strongly suspect that it is true. The thing is, this took place 1 week ago. And in 1 week, Mr. Raab has not collated the evidence. It beggars all belief. This is absurd. You know, what does he do in the week except for apply more suntan lotion? I hasten to say to Mr. Raab, the sun has gone in. The sun has not got his hat on at the moment. It's about to rain. Mr. Raab, it's time to resign. And if, let's say, you do your investigation, how long is that going to take? Another 2 or 3 days? Another week? And we discover that the evidence is correct, that people were being sent to Abbey Gate. Is that the time for you to resign? No, I strongly suspect you'll find another excuse or another person to blame. How many people can you blame, Mr. Raab, before you take responsibility for your own actions? Now, the point about this is that it's a malaise we've got into in this country. We think that if we give an official enough time to collate the evidence and to provide a reasoned, thoughtful response, that is good. Actually, I find that is not good. I find that really isn't the case. What we are giving people the opportunity to do is waste enough time so that we forget the original question in the first place. And what we get is a sanitized document which often bears no relation to the reality. I've got a very interesting story which I hope at some point to bring to you about private medical care. And it's very, very disturbing. So instead of looking at the telephone calls that took place, the investigators looked at the original agreement. Not really what the client, what the person experienced, the person telephoning these centres. It's the telephone call that matters, not what the original documentation is, and the discrepancy between the two may well be the issue. Anyway, look, this is something that I'm sure you have all experienced, whether with a bank, whether with a building society, whether with the law, or with telephone companies. Oh my God, telephone companies! Or maybe you just have had to deal with the Home Office. The Home Office controlled by that wonder of mechanism, Priti Patel. I will control. Actually, she doesn't even need to read the paper. I do not need to read the paperwork. Burn! Destroy the paperwork. I don't care. I can produce more aimless paperwork. We are living in a society which is dominated by paperwork rather than reality. And sometimes we forget that what we have to go back to is not the paperwork, but the reality. Mr. Raab, the reality is all that matters. Let's stop there.